Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for coming along, first of all. My name's Robert Kenwood. I've been an event professional and a recruiter for 20-something years now. What I'm about to show you today is a snapshot of a recent annual event salary survey that we carried out. This survey was carried out with Cvent's wonderful support, hence probably why I'm stood here, and it was also supported by U-Exclusive, DRPG and the MIA. Now, I've obviously only got 30 minutes to go through a 39-page white paper, and for those of you that know Felicia know that she's extremely tough on timing, so I have to get through this, so apologies if it's a lot of information. What I will say is at the end, I'm going to put up a QR code, and on that QR code, it will take you to my LinkedIn profile, and there's an area at the top you can register, and you'll actually receive the white paper into your inbox. It's all free, obviously, and it's all the results, all the analysis, and all the details. It's the second year we've done it, and as I said, there was 1,332 people responded, so it's quite a good piece of data to look at. Now, before we kick off, I've been told, please download the app. There are 2 questions that are going to come up in the app. If you can't be bothered and there's no one from Cvent in the room, we'll just stick our hands up. But if there is someone from Cvent in the room, please can you download the app and make sure you use the poll. So while you're all doing that, and I've been told to wait and let you do that, what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of information about what you're going to see. So it was, as I said, the second year we've launched this. I am a recruiter that spends half my life talking to agency owners and the other half speaking to job seekers and people within the marketplace. And I saw a huge disparity between what employers thought and what job seekers wanted. Something's come up on there. Sorry, my fault. So I did this last year off our own back, just really for my own information and to have something, to drive website traffic as well. And it really shocked me, some of the information that came through. A lot of what you're going to see today, you're probably going to unfortunately nod your heads and go, yeah, we know that. There were some really interesting points that I'll go through. So I've picked out some top lines. It was promoted by all the sponsors and partners across all their publications, websites and email. Oh, sorry. It was a voluntary and obviously anonymous survey. A survey of this sort of nature can obviously be flawed. There's no control over who completes it. Certain demographics may be keener to fill it in than others. Basically, that's a caveat for, look, take this as it's a good piece of data, but it's not obviously the be-all and end-all. So as I said, 1,332 people completed it. I want you to say yes to this next question. Have you all downloaded the Cvent app? Liars. Right, let's kick on. So, going to go straight to the app, or hands in the air. Now, these were the top 3 things that were answered from a huge multiple choice and free text question, which was, what is the most requested benefit or package change you would want right now? So these were the top 3, and what I'm going to ask you is, what do you think the order came up with? So what was the number 1 most requested benefit, packet or change, and then obviously number 2 and number 3? So I'll just wait for you to do that. I don't know how the app works, so. Is anyone using the app, honestly? Because, right, okay, I mean, yeah, great, well done. Shall I just carry on? No one tells Cvent, for God's sake. Okay, so luckily I had some graphs prepared for this very reason. There we go. So this was actually the order it came up of. 55% of people that responded to our salary survey actually said they wanted a 4-day working week. If you're an employer in the room, I can almost hear the tutting and, oh, yeah, of course they did. But what I would say that's super interesting about the 4-day week in our industry, which obviously events, MICE, travel, experiential venues, and I'll show you a snapshot later, 4-day week is not doing a 5-day job in 4 days. That's actually called compressed hours. Okay, a 4-day working week is, I get paid 5 days to work for you for 4 days. I know it sounds a bit pedantic, but it's a huge difference in it. And in the industry, it's currently impossible to do this as it currently stands. Great example, I was talking to someone earlier who's in sales. Sales, you think, is the easiest way to do a 4-day working week. We want you to do 10 leads a week. I've done them in 1 day. What do I do the rest of the week? Well, you should do nothing because you've done your target. But as an industry, we're not ready for that. And that came out later, what's called project work, which is about the output instead of the hours. So I was very impressed with the 4-day week. I like that a lot. Salary was really interesting. Less than 50% said they wanted a salary increase. Don't know how you all feel about that. But over the people that said they weren't happy, the people with the completed overall, 55% actually said I'm not happy with my salary overall. So 55% I'm not happy with my salary, but only 47% said they wanted it increased. So again, goes back to that, as event professionals, you are the world's worst promoters of yourself, and you'll say, I'm really unhappy, but don't do anything about it because I don't want to rock the boat. Happy, people that said that they were happy with their current salary, 26% says, the work I do is justified by the salary I get paid. So you're paying me enough for the work I do. I don't know anyone that's ever spoke like that to me, but that's what the survey says. And the people that weren't happy, and this has increased by over 11% since last year, was I'm doing more in my role now, I should get paid more than what I'm doing right now. So 20% said I'm doing more than my role should be if they went back to their job description. Now, interestingly, and again, when you look at the white paper, it will show you age demographics, gender, race, every sort of demographic is cross-referenced. Pension was the third most requested change. Now, this could be, I know we don't have an older workforce because the data will tell us that, but someone like myself who's 47, hurtling towards that 50, where apparently we're all dead at 50 in the events industry, no one cares about us at 50. Pensions are becoming more important to people at the beginning, middle, and end of their careers now. So that, to me, is what I've been calling the standard of living is just as important as the cost of living. So these are the top 3 things that people said they wanted changed in their benefits. Of course, this is what we thought. In the entire top 6 responses to the question we asked earlier, actually only one of them is about salary. There was only one in the top 6 that was, I want more money. So this again shows that employers need to think smarter about how they're attracting and retaining talent, and actually throwing money at people isn't the right option, because we're also hearing job seekers saying, it's not just about how much money I'm getting paid, it's that standard of living as well. And again, this for me is, if you're an employer or a job seeker, but if you're, employee or an employer, it's about listening, letting people lead the conversation, because these people are in our businesses. They are, you sat here today, and they're also people that are taking our industry forward. And if our industry is saying, we think this, we have to be listening to that. We can't just ignore what's happening. Hybrid working. I can't believe we still talk about hybrid working, because if you're not doing hybrid working at the moment, something's going wrong. But hybrid working, so just for clarity, hybrid working, and look, I've been a recruiter and event prof for 20 years, as I've said, this is my definition of hybrid working. So remote is all office, no office. Remote is you never go in the office at all. Hybrid is you have a split of home and office, or work from home if you take that, sorry. Home and office is split, but it's a fixed pattern. So you might be told to come into the office Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Has anyone heard what that's now called as a working pattern? They call it the twat working pattern. Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. No, it's fantastic. But that is not flexible working. That is, you will come into this office these days a week. That's not flexible, that's hybrid. Flexible is much more of that, we talked about project-based, but flexible is you can come into the office, you can work from home, let us know, it's down to the employee's choice. 74% of people said they would not apply for a job if hybrid wasn't an option. And 11% said if there wasn't remote as an option, they wouldn't apply. So 85% of the people that carried out this survey said, I wouldn't apply for that job if they didn't offer hybrid and remote. So what does make me confused, if you add those numbers up, there's still a percentage of people making people go into the office 5 days a week. So we talk about there's a talent shortage, we talk about the industry's losing talent, and we're the ones making that happen by making everyone come in. Why is this happening? A lot has been said in our industry, and I've heard it a lot again today, which is fantastic, is employers are missing out by not offering the basics. And it's not because of a lack of wanting to, but there are a lot of employers that will say, I think this is the answer, so that's it. If you haven't done a survey, if you haven't spoke to your team and found out what they want, all those good intentions could actually be quite negative. So again, listen to your employees. And why do we feel this is happening? We're an industry full of leaders. I was called an inspirational leader and a terrible manager far too many times when I was at Bank Sadler. Probably I got sacked, actually. That's what we're full of. We're full of leaders saying, let's, come on, smash through that wall. What we need is managers saying, why don't we just build a door? Why don't we go through it together? And that, I think, comes up in the survey a lot. It's about employee and employers speaking and working together. Back to the app. So one of the questions we asked was, how well has your company's turnover bounced back since COVID-19? So this was both to employers and employees. They all answered this. So how well has your company turnover bounced back since COVID-19? What do you think the top three? Now, I think the app's still down, so we'll just... Is it working? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So if you were to hazard a guess, shout it out because I'm old school, how well do you think the industry, how well has the company turnover industry bounced back since COVID-19? Almost, better, back, initially, not well? Any thoughts? Absolutely, it does. This is a snapshot of everything.
Top line, better, but profit margins lower because of cost of resources.
Okay, interesting. You need a good recruiter. This is what the survey told us. So 31% said better now. And as the guy mentioned there, this was turnover. We didn't look at GP, and it is a question we're looking at for net return as well. But 31% said we're doing better now than we were pre-COVID. 29% said almost, we're getting there. And 23% said actually we're already there. We're actually already there. The problem I saw as well, there was 16% said we did well initially, but we're now struggling. And I think we all saw that last year, the bounce back year. Everything we thought, sunlit fields and everything was going to be fantastic. This year has kicked us in the you-know-whats quite heavily. From what I'm hearing for next year, how it is now, with a little bit of positivity, is what next year will look like. We know we're not going back to last year. Let's enjoy that, put it in the bank and move forward. But the survey is telling us that actually it is a bit better out there, but the results from last year, it was over 60% said it was better. What's on companies' to-do list? So what issue is the highest on your company's agenda? Again, employees and employers answered this because they should know via internal communications what they're being advised, and this is what came up. So oddly, 60% of companies said they recruited this year to grow their business, yet if we go back to the bouncing back section and in the report, only 5% of companies actually view recruitment as important, which I couldn't really work out. So what that says, again, what we look at when we talk about recruitment is it's not seen as a strategy. So one thing I'd like you to take from the results and go back to where you work or where you run is talk to your people about, do we have a recruitment strategy? You've all got social media, marketing, business development, and a business plan. Do you have a recruitment strategy? And do you have data that you can utilize? And that's what this survey is about. And it's a total disconnect, and it reveals companies don't see it as serious. It's when it's right in front of your face. And again, it's just a personal bugbear of mine. EDI. Now, it is better than last year, probably 2 to 5% as a maximum. We know we have to improve this. I can't wait until the day that it's not a slide on what we're doing. It just becomes normal, like sustainability and EDI and all the other stuff. At the moment, it has to continually be talked about. So our industry is seen as white, and obviously that covers, white British, white Irish, every sort of connotation. Disabled is 7%. Now that's quite interesting because last year it said 1%. Gabby Austin-Brown at Diversity Alliance did some numbers for us, and she's quoted in the survey quite a lot. She was interested in that target around, I don't think that's proportional, I think it's higher than that, but now at least people are happier to say, actually, yes, this is what I myself will say. So we are talking about these sort of issues a lot more. We also saw an increase in diversity, so Black, Asian, underrepresented minorities, coming into the industry. So the age demographic between 18 and 24 was over 15% higher than it was the year before. So again, as a snapshot, is the work we're doing as EDI, is the work we're doing with universities, is the work we're doing showing our industry as a career of choice for a more diverse workforce working? It is, but it doesn't mean we should stop. The other thing, again, that we're all aware, and I've just come out of the session with Faye. Did anyone go to that session? Wow, that was pretty incredible. We know that our industry is 70% female. And I've got some figures that are a bit depressing, but we have to keep this conversation going. We also know that as an industry, it says it's 87% heterosexual and straight. So again, that was a decrease because it was an increase in people saying this is how they feel. So we're talking about, sorry, this is who they are, not how they feel, sorry. So we are talking about this more, which for me is a great thing. London, 12% decrease in the people that did the responses based in London. So we know that these hubs of creativity in London has always been seen as the events industry, like it or not. Hopefully you're not all from London, but it is not the hub of the creative industry. But we know that companies are moving out of the London area, and more importantly, their employees are moving out of that area. I would caveat this. I mentioned earlier I spend half my life talking to agency owners. A lot of agencies are talking about the amount of days they're coming back into the office. So if they were doing remote, they're now doing 1 day. If they were doing 1 day, they're now doing 2 days. People are wanting you and me to come into an office more and more. We are a high, soft touch industry that sells face-to-face as the answer to all your problems. So agency owners are saying, I'd quite like you to come back into the office. The flip side of that is we're also hearing people talking about reducing the salaries for people that don't come into the office as much as those that do. So if you're an account director on 60,000 and you come in 4 days a week into London, wherever the office is, London, Manchester, Liverpool, wherever it is, if you come in 4 days a week as an account director on 60, you could be working with someone that comes to the office 3 days a week and they get paid 55. Now I live in Brighton, which is now, for those of you who know, it used to be called London by the Sea. Woo. We're now just a borough of London, because we have inflated salaries from people coming into Brighton who now don't have to go into London 5 days a week. So those companies are starting to say, why are we paying you this much money? So that conversation, a snapshot, is happening. I'm not saying it will, but it's definitely being talked about. If I were to ask you which percentage you think would, of those 70% of our industry that is female, which side would you say is women in senior positions? Left or right? It is left. So we know that 70% of our industry is female, but only 27% of those women are in senior positions. Now, we class senior as anything over 60,000 as a salary, because we've all got weird job titles now, but we class senior as, director, but 60,000 and above. And the other upsetting thing, but we are moving away again, if I said to you again, which one of those numbers is women saying they're being paid over 65,000? Yeah, I mean, that is a lot higher than it was last year. A lot of the feedback we had about last year, and we hear about this as a lot, is men being better negotiators, women not wanting to ask for salary increases because of X, Y, Z. I'm obviously a white middle-aged man. This is not a conversation I know a lot about, but what I can work on is the data and the agencies that I'm speaking to. So we know this is a problem. However, with these types of surveys and with people continually having the conversation, and it's now should be the conversation of not why would you pay me more, you should be asking why aren't you paying me the same? It's not your responsibility to get the same pay as a man or a same title. That should be a conversation that should just be happening. Somebody asked earlier about the sector. These are the businesses, this is where people sort of responded to. And these were the sectors. So as you can see, for me, I could go on, and I'm finishing deliberately 5 or 10 minutes early, because I just wanted to. But we could go on and on. I found this incredible. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. What I will caveat this is, again, and I say this with all my one-to-ones I do, this is just data from a snapshot that we did for 1,300 people. This is just my analysis of it. This is not the law, and take this back and say, Robert said I should get paid 65,000. Well, you can if you want, but then, speak to me as well. I just want to have a quick thank you to our sponsors and a lady called Jill Hawkins from Aniseed PR, who has done the white paper. If you were one of the people that actually completed the survey, thank you. I was told I thought it was 8 minutes. Apparently it took 12, so sorry. I owe quite a lot of people 4 minutes. It is the largest set of data we have available so far in the industry around this subject. Please, I said to you there's going to be a QR code because I'm old school. Go onto my LinkedIn page. You'll see at the top it says download the white paper. Please tell me that works because I think I had a 7-day free trial. If not, Robert Kenwood, you'll find me on LinkedIn. So register it, download it. It's coming out in about a week and a half. It's all ready, and Cvent are wonderfully putting together, making it look pretty for us. So we have finished a few minutes early. That's what I wanted to run through. That's what I was asked to run through. So thank you for your time. Before I do leave, and I wasn't supposed to do this, if there is any questions, I'm happy to take questions, and I'm not going to do that, I've given you 10 minutes of your life back, because that is so annoying. If you want to leave, leave, but if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir, at the back.
So basically, in event industry, there's a saturation with respect when you go up the ladder. Do you think Prince 2 certification and moving to project management will help grow the horizon as such?
Do you mean salaries or seniority or both?
Seniority, because as you go above the ladder, like director, VP, event management has a very low ratio on top versus other departments, be it IT, be it HR, so on and so forth. So do you think any kind of courses will help us get that extra merit to reach up to that ladder and to take up different positions in the organization?
Yeah, thank you. It's an interesting one because I'm always a big advocate, as if I'm an employee, of putting the responsibility on my line manager to actually sort that question out for me. So, for example, if I'm speaking to someone and I'm looking for more salary or I'm looking for a senior title, and I think somebody said it in there, and actually male or female, I would say on this one, no one's going to come to you and go, great job, I'm going to give you 10 grand pay rise and you're going to be a director of whatever anymore. So for me, the advice I would give on a personal recruitment front is speaking to your line manager and saying, this is where I want to be, you tell me the gaps I have. You tell me what I don't have to get there, and then when they tell you those gaps, what do you say next? How are you going to take me there? Because obviously if they say there's no gaps, woohoo, you've just got a pay rise. So for me, it's not just about title, gender, and salary. It's actually a lot about us driving. And to be honest, it goes back to what I said earlier. We're an industry full of leaders. As a leader myself, I hated those conversations because as a leader, you don't want to say to someone, I don't think you're worth a salary increase. Because that's what you're saying. So for me, it's about understanding why and then how you fill those gaps. That went a bit more consultancy than the survey, but anybody else at all? Yes?
When would you say is like a time for you to go, oh, I want a pay rise, and how would you like negotiate that sort of thing?
Every day? No. So I have this thing that's called I call it the want, the deserve, and the need. No, sorry, need, deserve, and want. Sorry, wrong way around. So need is your salary for you to live the life you want to live. I don't mean 6 times a year going to Barbados and driving Ferraris and living in, although anywhere now is expensive. For me, my need number is, I've got 2 kids, I want to be able to spend time with them, I want to go on holiday once a year, I drive a Volvo, but it's a nice Volvo, and I can play golf once a week. That's my need number that I earn so I can have that lifestyle. The deserve number is, how much are you getting paid? The deserve number is, well, hang on, I have a Prince 2 certification that you've told me we're billing out to how much am I actually worth to your employer? That's your deserve number. And your want number, and usually your want number is when you're changing jobs, and I hate to say that, but your want number is when you're changing jobs. And that's where you give a bracket to someone. Never tell them, A, what your salary's on, what you are on, and B, never tell someone you're looking for X as a number. Always tell them you're looking for a bracket, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and so on. So in answer to your question, and I'm sorry to sound like a politician without answering it, it really depends on your certain situation. Rule of thumb, if you are where you are and have been doing your job well and had no disciplinaries or anything for 18 months and you haven't had a salary increase, I'd be having a little think about what I was doing salary-wise and work-wise. I could have just said 18 months, actually, couldn't I? That would have been easier. Any other questions? There you go. Well, listen, thank you ever so much. Please download it. We'll be doing it again next year. Please share it with your peers, your friends, and yeah, I hope it's useful, and thank you for your time.